Good morning, everyone. I'm Father Fred Enman. I'm a graduate of the Boston College Law School class of 1978, and I am completing my 25th year as chaplain at BC Law. Thank you for that thunderous applause for these graduates. It is my distinct privilege and pleasure to pray for God's blessing on our gathering this morning. I would ask you to remain seated. Let us pray. Good and gracious God, as we gather here on this festive day, we ask your blessing on our Boston College community, especially our law school graduates of the class of 2022. We also ask your blessing on all of us, their families and friends. We give you thanks for their many achievements while they were students here, and we ask you to bless them with your love and guidance as they continue to move on to lives of service in the legal profession. We are mindful that you call all of us to be instruments of justice. In sacred scripture, we hear your prophet Amos cry out, "Let justice roll down like a river, and righteousness like a never-failing stream." And we are challenged by the call of your prophet Isaiah to release those bound unjustly, to untie the thongs of the yoke, to set free the oppressed, breaking every yoke, to share our bread with the hungry, to shelter the oppressed and the homeless, to clothe the naked when we see them, and to refuse to turn our backs on our own. We know that you call us to do justice in the world, and we ask you to bless us as we undertake that task. May you inspire us all, Lord, to be worthy stewards of your creation and to respect your divine image that is present in us all by heeding your call to love our neighbors and ourselves and to do justice in our world. And finally, we ask your blessing upon all who have worked so hard to make this festive event possible. We ask you this in confidence, for you are the God who made us, you are the God who saves us, you are the God who sanctifies us each and every day. Amen. And at this time, I would like to invite to the podium Elizabeth Jane Guin, who will lead us in the national anthem, and I ask you all to please stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Everyone, please be seated. Father Leahy, Provost Quigley, members of the faculty, our commencement speaker, Chief Justice Budd, members of the Boston College Law School class of 2022 and their families and friends, welcome to our commencement celebration. As the interim dean, the 2021-2022 academic year will be my only full year to lead this school. And in many respects, it's been a pretty unusual year indeed. We have faced some significant challenges around the pandemic, horrific acts of violence and hatred across the country and abroad, as well as the difficult loss of beloved longtime members of our faculty and staff. But this past year has been marked by some important moments and milestones as well, including a return to a full in-person campus experience. In spite of the challenges, this year has also been quite special. One of the most important goals we have collectively worked on is developing the skills and the capacity to have conversations on incredibly important topics. Our ability to do so speaks to the heart and soul of who we are, what is important to us as a community. It speaks to the concept of cura personalis, or care for the whole person, an essential part of the Jesuit tradition. And it speaks to the importance of informed and respectful dialogue in shaping future leaders of the legal profession. Having a respectful dialogue and debate over topics that spark intense opinions and emotions is a pretty difficult task these days. As you graduate and join the legal profession, you will face even more challenges on the national and global stage. Two of them are often intertwined. One, threats to rule of law, and two, problems of mis- and disinformation. With respect to the first, threats to rule of law, we have seen ongoing examples domestically and internationally in actions ranging from undermining the electoral and voting process to outright invasion. There are no simple answers, but you will hear more on this and your role from Dean Young. I would like to take some time today to talk about the second threat, the one posed by misinformation and disinformation. This is a familiar topic in an era of rapidly changing technology and easy communication across the world. But I believe that the full scope of the risk may not be as widely appreciated. Misinformation, sharing false information that you believe to be true, and disinformation, intentionally giving false information for some kind of gain, affect every facet of public and private life: political debates, voting, design of government regulation, regulatory reporting and enforcement, research and science. It damages every level of society and every actor, including nation states, government agencies, corporations, media, nonprofits, and religious, educational, and social groups. Just a few common examples include corporations falsifying safety data required under government regulation, governments providing incomplete data to shift public opinion, public figures promoting a particular political, social, medical, or scientific position through inaccurate or incomplete data, private individuals joining in semi-public exchanges on issues of the day with insufficient attention to the validity of their assertions. In some cases, the parties providing information have a clear duty, whether legal, regulatory, or contractual, to provide true and complete information. But even those without such a clear legal duty can cause harm and create significant risk on a national and global level by their indifference to false inaccurate, or incomplete information. All members of society can play a role in mitigating the impact of misinformation and disinformation by ensuring what they share is accurate, by learning about data literacy and fact-checking, by seeking out multiple sources, and by speaking out when they see problems. Everyone should take this seriously. But you, the graduates of the class of 2022, as members of the legal profession, you will have many more opportunities to play an important role. Whether you find yourself working in government, private sector law practice, in-house in a corporation, or working in a nonprofit, you will face choices, like how to resolve the reports of a safety test properly, how to respond to a whistleblower filing, how to report regulatory compliance, how to present information on a complicated topic to the public, or how to garner support for a proposal, legislation, reform, or project. In some cases, you may believe that your overall mission is important and serves a good purpose, and that this purpose might be disadvantaged by more complete and accurate statements. You might even try to embrace arguments justifying why the reporting being considered is not really false. Add in other pressures, including financial and employment, and you can see how we might begin to slide away from the truth and how these problems become so commonplace. This is where you step in. Fight against this slide in your own dealings and the dealings of those around you. This is what we have trained you to do. Lawyers are at the heart of many of these decisions, and you, by recognizing the real risk and power of information in society, and by committing to practicing with integrity, you can make a difference. Of course, genuine ambiguity in law and facts does exist, but those cases are not the problem. The real problems will be right in front of you, and if you are willing to look right at them and honestly assess whether you will be furthering misinformation, you will recognize them and have the capacity to act with an ethical and moral compass. I believe that we have prepared you well to take up this fight. All of you, the class of 2022, have persevered against a backdrop of incredibly difficult personal and professional challenges during your time with us. Our JD graduates were the first class impacted by the COVID-19 shutdown in spring 2020. And throughout your entire time here with us, you've had to manage through change. All of our graduates, JD and LLM, have succeeded through tremendous personal loss, remote and hybrid classroom environments, and disruptions to your professional formation and job search process. Not to mention the political and societal upheavals that have often struck at the core of your very own identities. Through it all, you have met those challenges head on. We are incredibly proud of you for doing so. So go forth now, as our BC Jesuit mission says, and set the world aflame. But do so with honesty, integrity, and with the sense of professional ethics that we have worked so hard to instill in you. I do not think that I am exaggerating when I say that the world and our future place in it depends on you. Congratulations, members of the class of 2022. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Reverend William P. Leahy of the Society of Jesus, President of Boston College, who will offer welcoming remarks.
I join Dean Ring in welcoming all of you here this morning for this grand moment, the graduation of the class of 2022. And it's also wonderful to have Chief Justice Budd with us, all the parents who join in this celebration, and friends of our graduates, also faculty and staff who have done so much to help our graduates reach the place that they are today. And then you graduates of the Boston College Law School class of 2022. We have much to be grateful for, to express appreciation for. And so on behalf of the Boston College community, I welcome you to this event and say to all of you that earning a law degree is something that requires hard work, tenacity, and a great deal of support. We live in a time when our world faces a number of challenges. We have seen the devastation of mass shootings just recently in Buffalo and in Texas. We've had the fighting, the invasion in the Ukraine by Russia for all of us to comment on, respond to. And it brings me back to why we have a law school at Boston College. Because we want to help influence the social order around us. We want to increase respect for the rule of law and respect for all rights. We can't be in a world and have any kind of hope of mutual respect, common bonds, if we don't have a solid foundation in respect for the law and adherence to the rule of law. That's why we need you graduates of this year's class at Boston College Law School to be attorneys who are guided by a sense of ethics, who care for the vulnerable, who strive to protect legal and human rights, who work for justice, who know and appreciate how foundational the rule of law is to our society. This day is a time to give thanks, but it's also a moment to rededicate ourselves to our beliefs, our values, and aspirations. The law has been and remains a noble profession and such a meaningful way to do good, to work for the greater glory of God. And so we give thanks, we look back, and we also lean into the future. And we do that with great hope and gratitude because we know we are part of a community that cares, a community that's solidly grounded in values in the Judeo-Christian tradition. And so may God especially bless you graduates of the Boston College Law School class of 2022 and enable you to share with others your many talents and skills. My congratulations and best wishes to you, and also thank you for being part of the Boston College community these past years. Thank you.
To the class of 2022. It is my honor as Associate Dean of Faculty and Global Programs to convey the congratulations of my faculty colleagues to you all and to give our best wishes to both you and to your loved ones. It is not many law graduates who can say that their studies bridged a newly named axis in recent history, the before times and the after times. Most of you started as 1Ls in the before times and ended as 3Ls in the after times, and you have all experienced numerous pandemic surge times in between. This axis brings an unprecedented quality to your graduating class, an ability to endure rapid changes in expectations and habits and the mysteries of online learning. I hazard a guess that this quality will lend a profound depth to what will likely come next. We, as your teachers, celebrate your achievement, and it is the what next question that I want to focus on in these brief remarks. We all know that there will be duties to uphold the law and to protect your clients' rights that come with serving as a licensed legal professional. But you will have other, less explicit duties that come with this degree. You have spent the last 3 years as JDs and 1 year as LLMs learning the law at Boston College. You have mastered the black-letter doctrine, as we like to call it, as well as the legal theories steeped in grey, or indeed, as my feminist legal theory students would likely state it, in all the colours of the rainbow. In gaining this knowledge, you have scanned pixels, uploaded documents, painted with highlighters, and printed reams of your own analysis, reflections, and legal advice. At the same time, you have learned of the achievement and of the fragility that is the rule of law in a democracy, the principle under which all persons, institutions, and entities are accountable to laws that have been publicly promulgated, equally enforced, independently adjudicated or arbitrated, it's a topic for my contracts class, and consistent with human rights. And so your role with your law degree extends to defending the rule of law, which means communicating to the wider community what the law is and why its rule is worth defending. Now, legal education offers multiple ways to understand the law. Let me contrast two. The first is the walking in their shoes type thought experiment that you learned in reading cases from day one. Here, you were forced to think through the experience of the plaintiff, the defendant, legal counsel, the judge. The second is of law as a structured map which supplies the coordinates of the morally relevant features that bear on our legal disputes, as well as our policies, our laws, and our legal institutions. This map has also been built by you, little by little, from day one. Together, these two models help to inform a practice of situated decision-making that you will continue to draw on as legal graduates. As these models support you in the years to come, they will also support the rule of law and a just legal system. Many of you will recognize this model of situated decision-making from the work of our dear colleague, Catherine Wells. Professor Wells passed away in March this year. Were she still with us, she would be proud of you all. So these years have brought other before times and after times beyond the COVID pandemic. Many are personal to each of you. But for all of us, the expectations of American democracy changed before and after January the 6th, 2021. The expectations for global stability changed before and after February the 24th, 2022. These dates ask more of your careers as legal graduates, whether here in Boston, Massachusetts, or in any other part of the United States, or indeed in any corner of the globe. In all of these places, uncertainty about the stability of the rule of law is compounded by an uncertainty about where those threats to the rule of law actually lie. There will be disagreement. Take an example. Is it the fact of a leaked draft opinion from the Supreme Court, or is it the substance of that leaked judgment that is of the greatest concern? For questions like this, disagreement can be passionate, troubling, but oftentimes illuminating. Your responsibility as our graduating class is to ensure that the disagreement helps to defend rather than corrode the rule of law. As your teachers, we have already witnessed you rise up to this responsibility in the classroom, in the clinics, and elsewhere. We know we can count on you for what comes next. So congratulations to you, the graduating class, on behalf of all the faculty.
And now I would like to introduce our commencement speaker, the Chief Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, Kimberly S. Budd. Chief Justice Budd became the 38th Chief Justice of the Supreme Judicial Court on December 1st, 2020, after having served as an Associate Justice on the court since August 24th, 2016. She earned her bachelor's degree in English from Georgetown University and a law degree from Harvard Law School, and began her legal career as a law clerk to Chief Justice Joseph P. Warner of the Massachusetts Appeals Court. She was a litigation associate at Mintz-Levin before serving as Assistant United States Attorney in the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts in the Major Crimes and Drug Units. After that, she was a university attorney for Harvard University in the General Counsel's Office. She later served as Director of Community Values Program at Harvard Business School. Chief Justice Budd was appointed as an Associate Justice of the Massachusetts Superior Court by Governor Deval Patrick in 2009. In 2016, she served as the Regional Administrative Justice for Middlesex Criminal Business. She teaches in the MCLE and Bar Association programs, is a former adjunct instructor at New England Law, and has taught trial advocacy at Harvard Law School. Everyone, please welcome Chief Justice Kimberly S. Budd.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Ring, Father Leahy, Provost Quigley, members of the faculty and staff, honored guests, and most importantly, to the members of the Boston College Law School class of 2022 and their family and loved ones. It's a great privilege and honor for me to be here with you this morning to celebrate your accomplishments. You know, one of my colleagues recently told me that she and her husband decided a while back to just celebrate moments. And I think this is a great moment to celebrate, so congratulations to you. I have to say it's a particular pleasure for me to be able to be here with you because although I didn't go to Boston College myself, my family has many ties to BC. My dad, Wayne Budd, and my sister, Christy Budd, and my husband, Bill Thompson, are all BC alum. And in addition to attending BC, my dad was a BC trustee and taught at the law school for many, many years. I can't tell you how many times I've had people come up to me and say, "I had your dad for agency and partnership." As for my husband, he played football under Coach Jack Bicknell, and was a member of the famed BC team in 1984 that beat Miami when Doug Flutie had, you've heard of it? No, seriously. I wasn't sure, well, I don't know if the students have heard of it, but some others have. So what happened was, BC's last minute, Doug Flutie's last minute Hail Mary pass to Gerard Phelan in that game in Miami won the game, and it was huge. At least it was back then. After Bill graduated, he actually joined the BC football coaching staff, and he coached under head coach Tom Coughlin. And one of the players he mentored was a promising young man named Serge George, who is today a colleague of mine on the Supreme Judicial Court. So it seems that no matter where you go in Boston, you're always going to run into a BC alum one way or another. Today, after years of hard work, you're joining that august group of alumni who are graduates of BC Law School. You deserve special recognition, given that you've achieved that goal under particularly difficult circumstances. I'm going to go ahead and confess to you that when I was graduating from law school, I don't remember much about the graduation, and I don't remember anything, I don't think, of what the speaker said, but I'm really glad to be able to spend this time with you today because it gives me an opportunity to share with you some of my journey and some of my hopes for you. And what I'm thinking is that maybe some of it will resonate with you now, and maybe in the years to come, something will come up for you, and you'll say, that lady was right. So let's find out. First, as has been said, earning your JD is a major accomplishment under ordinary times, right? The endless hours poring over cases and outlines, the challenging classroom discussions, cramming for final exams. It's an intense rite of passage. But your law school experience has been anything but ordinary. You had to persevere through a deadly pandemic and all its consequences. Disruptions to ordinary routines, the sudden shifts to online classes, pervasive uncertainty, testing, quarantines, social isolation, and for some of you, illness or the tragic loss of a family member or friends. And on top of that, you've had to carry on despite the daily drumbeat of deeply discouraging news all around you, including the repeated horrors of mass shootings from which we have experienced an inconceivable level of heartbreak this week alone, the unjustified deaths of Black men and women in the name of law enforcement, the extraordinary spectacle of violence in the halls of Congress, Russia's attack on Ukraine, the dangers posed by an ever-warming climate. For each of you to have gotten here, you've had to develop extraordinary resilience, patience, and persistence. And you must have found some deep source of strength to carry you through despite all of the uncertainties that you faced. For some of you, it may have been your faith. For others, a dream of making a difference in the world or in your communities. For still others, it may have been the support and love of your family and friends, or some combination of all of those things and more. Whatever your source of strength, my first hope for you is that you will continue to cherish and cultivate that strength in the years to come. Let it guide and support you, even if it leads you down unexpected or uncomfortable paths. Now, many of you may have a clear vision of what your future is going to look like and what you hope to achieve with your law degree. Others may feel less certain. I can say that I was firmly in that second camp. When I graduated from law school, 3 decades ago, by the way, I know it doesn't look at. I never dreamed that I'd one day become a judge, much less the chief of the Supreme Judicial Court. Over the years, I've had an opportunity to practice different types of law. Dean Ring laid them out for you. I worked at a big firm, at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and in-house at a university. And although in hindsight it may look like I'd carefully planned my career so that I would have a range of experiences that would make me an attractive candidate for the bench, being a judge was something I never even considered. In fact, there was a point in my career when I left the practice of law. My boys were 1 and 4 at the time. Both my husband and I were working more than full-time, and my husband traveled frequently for his job. Try as we might, our lives just were not working well, and I knew that I needed to make a change. I ended up leaving the general counsel's office at Harvard University and took a job as an administrator at Harvard Business School. The decision to make that move was a difficult one because it meant stepping away from my legal career, and my identity at that time was very much wrapped up in being a lawyer. And at the time, I really didn't know whether I was leaving the law for a short time or forever. So it was a scary step to take. But I thought about advice that I had heard years before from the then Chief Justice of the Supreme Judicial Court, Margaret Marshall, who was the first woman in that role. And she was giving a talk, and what she said was, your career does not have to be a continuous upward trajectory. You can step off occasionally to take care of things that you need to take care of. And that's what I did. Working at Harvard Business School was great. For 6 years, I worked an 80% schedule, which for me was 5 short days. I was able to do my work, then go pick up the kids from school, take them to their activities, and be home for dinner. And it really was what was best for my family at the time. When my kids got older, though, I began to think about what I might do next, but I still wasn't considering a judgeship. In fact, I might never have taken the first step in that direction, but for the fact that one of my law school classmates, Barack Obama, became the 44th President of the United States. And I have to tell you that when one of your classmates becomes president, you do begin to look at your own life from a different perspective. You know, I really did have to ask myself if I was really doing all I could to make a difference and a contribution. And that's when I decided to apply to become a judge on the Superior Court of Massachusetts. Now remember, I had not been practicing law for 6 years, so I was concerned that that gap would be an issue. But what I did was highlight the management skills that I learned from working at Harvard Business School, and I also explained how part of my role was to deal with student disciplinary issues, and so that gave me quasi-judicial experience. That strategy worked, and so it worked out. So my second hope for you is that you'll give yourselves the freedom to think about alternative professional paths, both now and in the future. Speaking from experience, sometimes the roads that you did not plan to take can take you to the most rewarding careers. I have to say that I really, really enjoyed being on the Superior Court. During my 7 years there, I had the opportunity to handle a wide range of serious civil and criminal cases. The people who came before me, criminal defendants, victims, pro se litigants, were often at the lowest point of their lives. I had a chance to look into their eyes and to assure them that I knew their case was important and that they were being heard. The work was very meaningful to me. So when the opportunity came up to apply to the Supreme Judicial Court, I was hesitant. I knew it would be a difficult process, and as I said, I truly enjoyed the work that I was doing. But ultimately, I decided that it was an opportunity that I just couldn't get past up. Moving from the trial work and the daily motion practice of the Superior Court to the appellate work of the SJC was a big adjustment for me. You know, the work of a judge on the Superior Court is a nice mix. There's writing, there's hearing motions, there's presiding over trials. But at the SJC, it's all reading and writing and, with oral argument. And I have joked in the past that being on the SJC is like being on the Superior Court with all the fun taken out of it. But seriously, I have never regretted the move. I feel fortunate to have a say on issues that impact all of our society, all aspects, both here in the Commonwealth and beyond. And I think that we sometimes tend to overlook the importance of state courts. I know I did earlier in my career, but my experience on the bench, both in Superior Court and on the SJC, has really been eye-opening for me. Do you know, nationwide, nearly 99% of all new cases are filed in state courts. The types of cases heard in state courts include not only the vast majority of criminal prosecutions, but so many other cases that directly affect people's lives, such as divorce, child custody, child support proceedings, probate matters, eviction cases, employment and discrimination suits, small claims, debt collection suits, and other types of contractual disputes. So what happens in state courts has a huge impact on the everyday experience of people all across the country. In addition to handling a huge volume of cases that are critical to the parties involved, affecting their families, their homes, and their livelihoods, state courts also play an essential role in interpreting and applying their respective state statutes and developing the common law. If you're working in the field of corporate law, for example, the decisions from the courts in that state of incorporation provide essential guidance for corporate governance. But perhaps most importantly, state courts are the final arbiters of the rights established by their respective state constitutions. Of course, the United States Supreme Court has the final say on the meaning of the federal Constitution, and its decisions establish the minimum standards for civil rights in this country. But those decisions do not prevent state courts from interpreting their own state constitutions as conferring greater rights than those available under the federal Constitution. And the SJC has done so on a number of occasions, holding, for example, that the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights provides greater protection against government searches and seizures than the Fourth Amendment to the US Constitution. Being at the SJC has given me the opportunity to be engaged in a whole range of issues that have far-reaching significance for the Commonwealth and its residents. And I would have been entirely content to remain in the role of Associate Justice at that court for many years. But everything changed in mid-September 2020, when just 6 months into the pandemic, our Chief Justice, Ralph Gantz, died suddenly and unexpectedly. It was truly a devastating loss. He was a brilliant and inspiring leader, but he was also the person who made us laugh and keep our spirits up. You know, the symposium and the special issue of the Boston College Law Review that you dedicated to him last year contained wonderful tributes that beautifully captured many sides of an extraordinarily talented and compassionate judge and human being. Chief Justice Gantz was irreplaceable. He's dearly missed, but someone had to try to follow in his footsteps as Chief Justice. And so, with trepidation, I again applied for another new job. And I was fortunate enough to be selected by Governor Baker and approved by the Governor's Council. But I have to tell you, the whole thing was so unanticipated, and it all happened so quickly, that it's still sometimes hard for me to believe. When I was being introduced, I was like, are you guys talking about me? But here I am, speaking to you today as the Chief Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court. So here's the important thing about that. I told you about my experience and the choices that I made, but not because there's something remarkable about what I did or the path I took. Instead, it's to illustrate my third hope for you. Applying for each of those judicial positions was daunting, to say the very least. It would have been much more comfortable for me to stay where I was each time. And I'll admit that the prospect of taking each new step was all the more fraught with uncertainty because of the ways in which, as a Black woman, I have been underestimated in the past. But those same uncertainties and past experiences also drove me to push forward. I didn't want to let the chance to make a difference pass me by. I'm only the second Black woman and the third African American overall to be appointed to the SJC in its 330-year history. The first Black justice on the SJC was Roderick Ireland, and he later became the court's first Black Chief Justice. And our first Black woman justice on the court was Geraldine Hines, who is one of your professors here at BC Law. And I've told people, you know, if she wasn't there, I would not have applied because I had someone to look to. Both of them have been mentors of mine for a long time. And I realized that just as they had blazed a trail for someone like me, I could carry on and do the same. So in applying to the Superior Court and then to the SJC and then to the Chief Justice position, I was not just applying to these positions for myself. I was clearing a path for others as well. It's an extraordinary privilege to be able to have that kind of impact. And as challenging as each new position was, and continues to be, I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had, and I've never regretted choosing to step outside of my comfort zone. I want to be clear though, and this is important, I'm not special. I certainly never thought of myself as such. And if I am, to the extent I am, so are you. I mean, take that in, really. Look where you are. Look what you've done. Your possibilities are limitless right now. And it's really exciting. I'm really excited for you. So my third hope for you is that as you embark upon your own professional careers, you too will be willing to take some chances and bet on yourselves. I hope that you'll believe in your ability to tackle problems that you don't yet know how to solve and to fill roles that you're not yet sure how to handle. I hope that you'll think to yourself, why not me? Why not you? Why not? Keep in mind, and you've heard it several times before, the difficulties that we face in this world today are grave, and we'll need every bit of courage and ingenuity that you can muster to address all of what's going on. We live in a time when our nation is so divided, and many feel very skeptical about the capacity of our government and our society to solve the problems that beset us. But I'm confident that we can overcome these challenges if we refuse to yield to discouragement and take full advantage of the tools that we have to build a better future. And the law is one of the most effective tools we have. The rule of law is fundamental to a healthy and functioning society. It's the difference between order and chaos. It's the rule of law that serves to protect all of us, including especially those who are considered different because of race, nationality, gender, religion, sexual orientation, or disability, among other qualifying distinctions. But the rule of law is not static. It is also the means by which our society manages orderly change to solve its problems, whether through the passage of new legislation or the evolution of common law, or a deeper understanding of the constitutional principles on which this country and this Commonwealth were founded. As law school graduates, you've been trained to understand and use our legal system. And soon, once you become members of the bar, you'll have a license to argue for and create change. So, my fourth hope for you is that you use that power wisely and for the good. Look for pro bono opportunities to help people who cannot afford counsel. Every day in our courts, there are people who are facing potentially devastating personal consequences, the loss of their homes, or their savings, or the custody of their children in a divorce, without a lawyer to help them. You can make an enormous difference in their lives. Every day in our communities, there are people who are trying to create businesses or organize nonprofits who lack the legal guidance that they need to get started. You can help them create engines of community change. Look for chances to become involved in your community groups or government and find solutions to the problems that we face. You've been trained to make arguments, and you have a powerful voice. Use it. And above all, wherever you are and whatever you are doing, stand up and speak out when you see injustice. But also look for ways to heal the wounds caused by injustice and to bring people together. Although many things divide us, our society is strongest when it rejects hatred and fear and embraces fairness, respect, and equality. In closing, it's customary for the commencement speaker to quote inspiring words from a wise old man. But today, let me close by quoting an inspiring and wise young woman, Amanda Gorman, from her poem, The Hill We Climb. We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be. A country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. So Boston College Law School class of 2022, go forth and be the light.
Good morning. I'm pleased to present first our December 2021 Masters of Law graduates. Emmanuel Dercor, Juan Diego Fernandez Villazon, and now the candidates for the 2022 LLM Master of Laws. Julie Alouche, Hannah Atin, Erica Souza Bagley, Jada Berti, Abubakar Batira, Tuche Shalar, Lorenzo Capelli, Estelle Devreau, Charles Esteve Costa, Michele Getchel, Tasneem Anissa Lajal, Marion Leventurier, Dana Maratias, Arij Musa, Eunice do Carmo Pacheco Leandres Machado Paish, Manon Pujol, Mallory Patrice Sullivan, Eton Yang, Jean Yu,
Hello, everyone. First, I would like to announce our December 2021 Juris Doctor graduate, William Anderson Kreider. Now, I am pleased to present the class of 2022 for the degree of Juris Doctor. Dana Abraham. Ronan Adato. Claudia R. Ajluni. Celine Altintas. Robert Andrea, cum laude. Kimberly H. Anker, cum laude. Isabel Anselmo. Nicole M. Arata, magna cum laude. Benjamin Alexander Aschenberg, magna cum laude. Zoe Catherine Atchison. Olubukala M. Ayatiwa. Christian R. Babin, magna cum laude. Alexandra Babkowski, cum laude. Jessica Barberia, cum laude. Daniel Losardo Bassick, cum laude. Olivia Kathleen Bender. Vanessa Bernard. Samuel G. Bernstein, magna cum laude. Grayson Riles Bethel. Maxwell Joseph Black. Winston Lamar Bodrick. Catherine M. Bonavita. Trenton Bonk. Noah Botwinick. Imogen Bowden. Matthew Robert Bowser. Owen Robert Braley I. Alexandra R. Briety. Ilana Lerner Brockman. Victoria Elizabeth Broderick. Thomas Matthew Brown, cum laude. Daniel T. Buck. Ross Budrick, cum laude. Elizabeth Michelle Campbell. Seth Henry Kaplan. Hannah Carlson. Laura Caro Ruiz. Dylan Carruthers. Elizabeth Ann Caruso, magna cum laude. John R. Casali. Meredith Ann Catchings. Brett Robert Kavanaugh, cum laude. Jane Inya Cha, cum laude. Thomas J. Charpentier. Alexander J. Chatterley. Uram Choi. Jacob Cicero. Dimitri Kochi. Taylor Comerford, magna cum laude. Timothy Joseph Conklin, cum laude. Catherine Connors. Brendan Conroy. Matthew J. Coughlin, cum laude. Curtis Ryan Crook, magna cum laude. Olivia T. Crow. Vincent D'Amico, cum laude. Kristen A. Daly, magna cum laude. Jacqueline R. Daniel. Jasmine Daniel. Kaylee Quinn Daniels. Emily R. Dean. Jake Dylan DeLuya. Ryan Daniel DeRogers. Reed Diaz. Lily Powell Donegan. Isabella M. Dow. Thomas Kevin Duff. Connor Joseph Dwinell. Chelsea Blair Eddy, magna cum laude. Andre Inake. Charles Enberg, magna cum laude. Ismail Mahmoud Ershan. Vanessa J. Erickson. Matthew P. Facchetti. Allison Rose Ferraris, cum laude. John Francis Ferraro, magna cum laude. Andrew Jacob Fishman, cum laude. Troy Lee Fawcett. Pamela Fortunas. Terrence Scott Frank, cum laude. Gudong Fu, magna cum laude. Caroline Jolene, magna cum laude. Bradley H. Glennon. Catherine Getz. Jake Tucker Goldberg. Elizabeth Jane Guin, cum laude. Armin James Gregorian. Roma Gujarati. Masa Hagigat Kashani. Zachary Stephen Halpern, magna cum laude. Andrew Richard Joseph Harris, cum laude. Indigo J. Harris. Daniel Willis Harvester. Catherine Ann Healy. Timothy Grady Hegedus. Erica Foster Hines, magna cum laude. Serena DeWeese Hiley, cum laude. Carolyn Chi-Wen Ho. Casey Brianne Holton. Chi-U Huang. Max J. Hurwitz. Angie Catherine Isaza Loiza. Emily Anna Ivers. Evelyn Louise Albright Jackson, summa cum laude. Areem Jun. Adrian Johnson. Lindsay Brooke Johnson. Jenna Paige Johnston, cum laude. Emily Ann Jordan, cum laude. Andrew R. Jumper. Jennifer M. Jumper, cum laude. Beth Alyssa Camphouse. Matthew Joseph Kane, cum laude. Madeline McBride Cosell, summa cum laude. Sarah Marie Kelly, magna cum laude. Alexandra Marie Kelly. Danielle Marie Kemp. Ryan Joseph Kenny. Tyler V. Kiley. Jihu Kim. Justine H. Kim. Minyoung Gabby Kim. Rosa Kyungmin Kim. Kayla Elizabeth King, cum laude. Christoph Kolakowski. Deepika Komaneni. William Kevin Komos. Athanasia Kuskoulas. Elizabeth Noel Cozy. Priyanka Krishnamurthy Chrisman, cum laude. Abigail R. Critta, cum laude. Stephen William Cruz. Victoria Kalwicki, summa cum laude.
Vanessa Marie Lawrence. Andreen J. Lee. Clara Lee. Elaine Lee. Jacob T. Lee. Connie Lee, cum laude. Marion Lamont. Alexandra Yunzao LeVay, cum laude. Simon L. Levinson, cum laude. Stephen Daniel Levy, cum laude. Taylor A. Listow, cum laude. Bronwyn Alexandra Lloyd. Jessica Leigh Loyocano. Benjamin Albach Lowenthal. Daniel P. Luca, cum laude. Joshua Irving Luger. Robert Michael Leiden, magna cum laude. Molly McFadden. Grady Martin McGuire. Tiffany Malakis. Melody P. Matthewson, cum laude. Megan Mariah McDuff, summa cum laude. James G. McGrath. Graham F. McHenry, magna cum laude. Daniel J. McLaughlin, cum laude. Claire M. McLeod. Catherine A. McRae. Allison Orem Mead, cum laude. Caroline McKinley Mead. Heather Mendez. Ryan Metz. Mariah K. Mika, cum laude. Jordan L. Michelson. Stephen A. Millen. Rachel Anahid Manassian, cum laude. Ariana Layla Mirshakashan, Shani. Kashani, excuse me. Lauren Mittman. Lindsay K. Moore, cum laude. Sabrina Morelli, cum laude. Elizabeth Marie Morrison. Stephen A. Mueller. Megan K. Murphy, cum laude. Andui Nguyen, cum laude. Sayada Nusreen Niami. Laura Kathleen Nordlinger, cum laude. Regina Teresa Noonan. Sarah Eliza Oppenheimer. Elia Eftimosi Papakostas. Michael Parisi, cum laude. Hisu Park. Maxwell Whiting Passes. Kyle W. Patswall. Samuel Olawasheun Paul. Jordan Sloan Porowski. Lexi Ray Pariah. William E. Patron, cum laude. Christopher D. Phipps. Elizabeth Maria Platonova. Rebecca L. Powell. Rohena Rajbandari. Edward Charles Ramirez, Jr. Ian Alexander Ramsey North, cum laude. Emma Elizabeth Rothman. Sydney Ann Redmond. John Joseph Riley, cum laude. Martina Reynolds. Jonathan Samuel Roan. Daniel Patrick Riley, summa cum laude. Benjamin John Roberts. Laura Ann Robinson. Nathan W. Robinson. Kristen A. Rosa. Griffin C. Rose. Marina Francis Rothberg, cum laude. Olivia M. Salomon. Christopher M. Sambritaro. Devin J. Sanders. Julia R. Sove, cum laude. Zachary Sherman Shapiro, cum laude. Kelsey A. Schimmel. Eric T. Schumacher, cum laude. Christopher Scott. Olivia Sedita. Caitlin Z. Seed, magna cum laude. Saba Sharma. Scott James Sheltra, cum laude. Ryan L. Schrager. Benjamin Daniel Smith. Connor L. Smith, magna cum laude. Emily Rose Smith, cum laude. Stephen S. Song, cum laude. Siddhi Lakshmi Srinivasashar. Ashley Iman Story. Matthew T. Stansel, cum laude. Yin Sung, magna cum laude. Pentelis A. Taco. Dave J. Tandy. Mingchun Tang. Maria Tesla. Molly Jane Callahan Toms, cum laude. Rosemary Margaret Tutel. Noah P. Travis, cum laude. Alexander J. Turchetta. Nathaniel David Underhill. Varun Upneja. Margaret M. Utter, cum laude. Emma C. Van Lent, cum laude. Julia Nicole Varutsis, cum laude. Jillian Virale. Madeline C. Verhey, cum laude. Matthew Victor. Taylor Vitelli. Ryan Michael Walker. Tyler Omara Walmsley. Leslie Ashton Wells. Matthew Thomas Westoff. Victoria Rose Whalen. Jordan D. Wilson. Victoria R. Wines. Shionyue Shia. Usman Mohammed Yassin. Jane Yu. Noah R. Urick. Nicholas M. Zia. Yuan Zhao. Mingyu Su.
I would now like to present our Commencement Day Awards. The first is the Susan Grant Damaris Award for Public Service Achievement and Leadership. This year's award winner is Molly Jane Toms. As president of the Public Interest Foundation, Molly Jane has demonstrated exceptional devotion to promoting public interest in the BC Law community. Besides leading the significant work PILF already does, she expanded the organization's responsibilities with new programming such as DEI roundtables, helping to incorporate a broader, more diverse group into the PILF community, and she helped redesign the application and awards process to make stipends for public interest students more accessible, even with a larger class. Her interest and dedication to public service is evidenced by her great clinical experience. She was an intern at the ACLU and Metro West Legal Services, a clinic student with the Juvenile Rights Advocacy Project, a pro bono volunteer with the Navajo Nation, and a volunteer with local organizations serving communities in Massachusetts. Molly Jane was awarded a Massachusetts Bar Foundation Legal Intern Fellowship and an Equal Justice America Summer Fellowship for her work in civil legal services on behalf of clients and survivors in family law and domestic violence cases. After graduation, she will join Community Legal Aid as a staff attorney in their education law unit, continuing her committed work. Congratulations. Our next award is the St. Thomas More Award for exemplifying the intellectual, spiritual, and moral qualities of St. Thomas More. This year's St. Thomas More Award goes to Ian Ramsey North. Ian exemplifies the intellectual, spiritual, and moral qualities of St. Thomas More. Prior to joining BC Law, he worked to advocate for human rights for women, children, youth, and communities domestically and in Latin America, and later served in the Peace Corps in Uganda. During law school, he has encouraged the BC Law community to think critically about issues at the intersection of faith and justice, sharing his experiences and reflections on the Impact blog. Ian embodies the commitment to ongoing introspection and growth, providing guidance, support, and service, all while raising his own young family. His law school experience reflects his dedication to his community, whether organizing blood drives for Children's Hospital, serving as a Clow Center and Rappaport Center Fellow, or participating in the fellowship at Auschwitz for the study of professional ethics. Ian has interned at the Massachusetts Attorney General's Office and with the Harvard Immigration and Refugees Crimmigration Clinic. He also served as the executive editor for the UCC Reporter Digest and as a writer for the Law and Religion program. After graduation, he will join the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office as an assistant district attorney, continuing his work serving others. Congratulations. Now for the Philip Joseph Privatera Class of '95 Commencement Award for exceptional contributions through outstanding scholarship and commitment to service, as well as to the work of law. This year's Privatera Award winner is John Riley. In addition, to being an excellent student, John represents BC Law School in many ways. As more than one recommender noted, John bleeds maroon and gold. I do not know a single person who is more devoted to BC Law and its values or building community than John Riley is. He is involved in nearly every aspect of the law school, including serving as co-president of LSA, an editor of the Law Review, head of the Ambassador Program, basketball team captain and organizer, 1L mentor, and criminal law teaching assistant. This engagement both reflects and extends to an unmatched sense of school spirit. John's peers described him as, quote, one of the nicest people, with incredible energy and enthusiasm, an amazing leader, a dedicated student, friend, and community member who goes above and beyond to be a resource to anyone and make sure all on campus, faculty, staff, and students feel welcome and supported. Through his tireless work and contributions, he leaves behind an impressive legacy, having transformed the law school experience and what it means to be a BC Eagle for many. John will be joining the firm of Mintz-Levin on graduation. Our final award today is the Attorney Michael A. Flanagan Award. This recognizes the student who ranks first in the graduating class, our valedictorian. I am honored to share with you that the valedictorian of the BC Law Class of 2022 is Megan McDuff. Not only has Megan distinguished herself in her studies, but she has been engaged at the law school across a wide range of activities, from her work as an editor of the Law Review to her participation in the Eagle to Eagle mentoring, the Intellectual Property and Technology Forum, the Women's Law Center, and her work as a law practice teaching assistant. In the fall, she will join the law firm of Wilmer Hale. Congratulations, Megan, on this remarkable achievement. I would now like to invite the LSA co-presidents, John Ferraro and John Riley, to the podium.
Do I look good? Thank you, Dean Ring, Father Leahy, Provost Quigley, Dean Young, Chief Justice Budd, Mom and Dad, faculty, and most importantly, congratulations again to the class of 2022. And Dean McShay, I'm very, very happy you're on stage with us today because I'd like to take a page out of your book and hearken back to the type of remarks that you made to all of us when we arrived for the first day of orientation. The class of 2022 is one of the most unique, talented, and qualified to ever walk the halls of Boston College Law School. Our achievements were unmatched in the history of this institution and have set a new heightened standard for what it means to be a student at Boston College Law School. I am referring to the fact, of course, that congratulations, we are the first class that has not gotten the law school banned from a social venue. And that'll get us big character and fitness points. And while I'm tempted to stop on that very high note, we as a class have achieved a number of many other great things, including but not limited to surviving a pandemic and a veritable AP US History DBQ of the past 3 years, your fellowships with the Attorney General's Office, the UN, the Center for Reproductive Rights, the over $15,000 you raised for our class gift campaign, your publications in journals, and your major victories on our national and international moot court teams. So in my brief time at this podium, I don't claim to have something that profound that I could potentially impart on you. So perhaps I could instead just offer you some of my own reflections on what we've learned over our past 3 years here. You know, if you're asking, John, what might it be that we learned in our past 3 years here? Of course, we've learned that the only reason Google does not have the answer is because it doesn't jeopardize. We've learned that claiming attorney-client privilege is a wonderful way to get an adult conversation at a cocktail party. And aside from all that, hence the name law school, I hope we did learn some law. But applying the law is a very multifaceted enterprise. We learn to understand it and to analyze it, to synthesize and apply it, and to respect and to be awed by it. But speaking for myself, I have learned just as well to be horrified by it. Because looking to history, I don't say anything novel in discussing how it was law in Plessy that permitted an insidious regime of segregation. It was law in Korematsu that permitted the unjust detainment of Japanese Americans. It was law in Doma that denied fundamental dignity to LGBTQ people. And I doubt that there's a need to emphasize similar instances in more recent history, even within the past few weeks, where the law, the mechanism meant to provide the fabric of our society, to provide its underpinnings and to protect it, did just the opposite. And now please, do not mistake me, because I don't highlight these examples to say that our education has somehow been faulty or immoral, or that we made an incorrect choice in pursuing it. I merely state them as examples of law, a concept that is wholly distinct from justice. Indeed, our education was entirely proper because we were schooled in both. In our classes, our clinics, our pro bono projects, our research. We have learned to find and to combat injustice, to identify and root out the greatest problems that face our generation and our society. And we have learned to ingrain service into our lives and to always embody the maxim to be people for others. One of our professors once shared with me, and with many of us, that we are in an era overwhelmed with uncertainty. I agree. And I reference often these words that the late Professor Catherine Wells shared with Section 1 on the last day of our torts class on uncertainty in the future. Because these words have been a profound source of solace and motivation for me over the past several years. And what Professor Wells said, paraphrasing slightly, was that the uncertainty we feel is a great gift, and that in this rapidly changing world, the problems we face are seeds of transformation for a more just and sustainable world. Whether you spend the rest of your career in practice, or if you choose a different profession or life path, we all now have the tools, training, and education to honor that charge and to create a more just world. That obligation is on us now, and I know that this class is up to the challenge. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, John. That was beautiful. And thank you all to our distinguished guests for being here today. And to the Eagles, class of 2022. How are we doing? Do you remember the first day of school this year? Do you remember being back on campus, the anticipation, the excitement, the nerves of being together for the first time in a long time? There was a real noticeable buzz in the air on that August day, and I was thrilled to be back and giving the first on-campus tour of the year. I remember having a big group of about 30 first-year law students, many of whom were seeing our campus for the first time. So you want to leave a good first impression, right? Now I'm leading them on the tour from the lockers in the basement to the first floor of East Wing, walking backwards like any good tour guide, when all of a sudden, bam, fell down the stairs. Fortunately, the only thing damaged was my pride. But what a start to the year. And I tell this story not as a quick joke, but to point out the type of people that compose Boston College Law School. You see, the new students didn't laugh at my expense, as many might, but instead rushed down the stairs, helping me up and checking to make sure that I was okay. Perhaps most people would do the same, but I like to think that this moment was a sign of good things for the year, the kindness, support, and friendship to come. Because we here at Boston College are part of a special community. And we have all fallen down many times during law school, mostly metaphorical falls, but some literal too. And each time that we have fallen down, someone has been there to pick us back up. And as much as today is a wonderful individual accomplishment, this moment really isn't about us, the graduates. It is about the people who stood alongside us and picked us up over the past few years. It is about our parents, significant others, and family members, those joining us here today, and those we've lost along the way, who have given us so much. It is about the faculty and staff, always stepping up to the plate to show their support. And it is about the friends, perhaps the people that you met on your first day at Boston College Law School, who have since become our family. And as we enter the next phase of our lives, we owe it to them. Before departing, I'd like to bring your attention back to the first time that you arrived on the BC Law campus. And if you entered through the main entrance of Center Street, perhaps the first thing you noticed was the statue in front of the library. Since that first day, you've walked past that statue hundreds and hundreds of times, maybe even sat on the bench in front of it. The statue is of Thomas More, patron saint of lawyers. And one quote attributed to him, I think really sums up why we are here. He is quoted as writing the following: "Love rules without rules. Love rules without rules." In law school, all we do is deal with rules. The mailbox rule, the rule against perpetuities, writing rule statements, right? The list goes on and on. But as graduates of Boston College Law School, when it comes to love, we are challenged to go without the rules. As lawyers, we are tasked not to have a love of winning or a love of money, but a love for justice. And as people sharing a common earth, we must love ourselves and our neighbors fully and completely. In 1956, then Senator John F. Kennedy spoke at the commencement for Boston College, offering a special call to the graduating Eagles. And he said, "Never before in our history has there been a greater need for people of integrity and courage. Never before in our history has there been a greater need for the people to take up willingly the responsibilities of a free government." As graduates of Boston College, each person among you can answer that call. Nearly 70 years later, those words still ring true. And Eagles, when we do answer that call, we must do it with love, a love without rules. Thank you, and class of 2022, good luck.
God, Holy One of blessing, Creator of the universe, source of life, mercy, and justice, known by many names, who has spoken to all people in all times through an abundance of prophets, we gratefully acknowledge your presence with us here this morning as we bless and celebrate the Boston College Law School graduates of 2022, who honor you with their accomplishments, who stand before us today representing what is most holy in the human mind and soul: wisdom, diligent hard work, fellowship, and a commitment to fairness, justice, and peace. In Judaism, the focused study of law is considered precious beyond measure. We call law halakha, the way we walk in the world with the divine. When we are committed to fairness and justice, we walk with God. When we confront the complicated and divisive challenges of state and society, we walk with God. When we understand that individual wisdom confers responsibility to pursue justice and well-being for those we serve, we walk with God. Graduates, as you walk through this exceptionally complicated world, as you travel paths known or not yet discovered, roads trodden smooth by the generations before you, or if you decide to go off-roading through the brush and the bramble, may you remember that you are accompanied. You are accompanied by the knowledge learned inside and outside the classroom. You are accompanied by the mentors and teachers who have pushed you and inspired you. You are accompanied by each other, the friends and colleagues who grew and struggled and succeeded and pulled all-nighters right by your side. May you remember that to care for society begins with caring for yourself, caring for your families and your communities. May you remember that the path you walk is holy ground, and that this day is one of great blessing. May you be blessed. I'd like to close this morning's wonderful celebration with one of the most ancient blessings of my people, called the priestly blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikuneka. May God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you, bringing you goodness. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God lift God's face to meet yours, granting you the most precious gift of wholeness, of meaning, of peace. We say together, Amen. Mazel tov.
This concludes our commencement exercises for the class of 2022. I invite you all to join us for a reception in the concourse above us. And again, congratulations to all the graduates and their families and friends.